Good afternoon, everyone. Anthony here with Fiorenzo Brothers Sewer and Drain, just coming at you with another little video. For anybody that's not familiar with my channel, I'm just a guy that went out unclogging drains for side work, and after getting laid off, I wanted to try to work on opening my own business. So it started as a pretty steady side work to now I'm getting all the pieces of the puzzle together to try to go out on my own. My last video was just an update, basically just on kind of life as it is. So, just to update everyone, my current situation, I recently took a new full-time job. I'm working on the more important things in my life, starting my family. My wife and I are trying to have kids, which involves having to go through IVF and such. So our current insurance didn't cover it, so I took a new job for steady income and with better benefits. So I'm working full-time now, and then I do my side business on the weekends and sometimes the evenings, depending on what kind of call volumes come in. So that's just my current situation, just a little background if this is the first video you're seeing. So after everything I went over on my last video, basically I saw a comment that was asking questions about posts I make to get side work. So let me cover that first. So I'm a big user on the Nextdoor apps and the neighborhood apps. So obviously, when my wife and I bought this house a little over a year ago. So obviously the first thing I did when I bought the house, I, let all of the neighbors know, listen, I do sewer and drain work mostly. I am a plumber, but I don't do unlicensed plumbing work, but drain cleaning I will do. And then obviously over the time, once I got all my ducks in a row and I started kind of promoting my own business on the side, basically what I do is my brother and I, he's an excavator operator, and, we did a sewer line replacement job. Everything came out really nice. So basically I took all of the before and after photos, of the piping in the basement, how we left it, because we rake everything out really nice, throw seed down, and we make the finish look really nice. So I put pictures up, and I basically said, for anybody who's interested, if you're ever experiencing any clogged drains or if you have any issues with your sewer, or I said, even if you got a price from somebody else for a sewer line that you're concerned about or that scares you, feel free to give me a call. It never hurts to get a second set of eyes. Because obviously you're going against competitors, but your competitors are just as important to your network of other plumbers, contractors, because you can get work from them. If they get overbooked, they might pass a job on to you, or sometimes they might be able to offer a service that might not be something that you can offer. So never down talk another company. That's one thing I learned from my father growing up, and just in general. If I ever get two quotes or two estimates from two different companies, and if I say I got an estimate from another place, if a company starts bad-mouthing the other one, they lose my business right then and there. There's no need to down talk other companies. There's more simpler, reasonable terms. If somebody says that somewhere's price is outrageous, if it's a larger company like a Roto-Rooter or something, obviously the reasoning behind it is, that company has hundreds of workers, so they have a lot more overhead. So obviously their prices are going to be a lot more than, a one-man shop or a company that has, maybe a dozen employees. But yeah, so that was the first thing I did when I started kind of trying to promote myself a little bit. And then obviously, I search on those Nextdoor apps, like I use the phrase plumber, and, it'll show me all the posts that neighbors have put. And if I find anything that talks about something that sounds like a main sewer line backup, if it says like, when they flush a toilet upstairs, water comes up in the basement or comes up in a utility sink, I I write a comment with my name and my phone number or my business card. I just put my information out there. And then depending on your town and your jurisdiction, like where I live, there's a lot of house traps in crawl spaces and basements. In my town, or at least in my hometown, there's no ordinances requiring them. So when you come across house traps, you take them out. So, what I did is I did one for a neighbor, because I have a network. I have a friend that has a business with a master plumber's license, so he pulls the permit and I do the work under him. But, you take out the house trap and once again, I take pictures. I take a picture of what the old cast iron house trap looked like, and I'm like, hey, just a, plumbing tip. I said, if you have one of these in your crawl spaces, this is an old part of plumbing code where, in this town, there's no ordinances requiring them. And this is, of course, going in towns that don't have, like, sidewall vents and stuff like that you don't have to look for. But, when you know what you're talking about, and it's not even like I'm trying to tell people if you have it, get rid of it. I just put, like, a tip. I say a lot of times, sometimes sewer line clogs can happen right in the house trap. And then I did, like, a quick little, like, diagnostic step, so that way people, if there's a husband in the house that's handy, he might be able to even do that himself. Saves them money from having to call out a plumber. But then I mentioned that, if the issue keeps happening in this, then it might be a reason to maybe try to remove it. So that's the types of posts that I've put in the past that have worked. And then actually I did the same thing on my township community Facebook page. And I actually had a commercial plumber that works at one of the universities right nearby. He was very impressed with the way everything looked. And he and I linked up. So he's almost like the equivalent of a plumbing company referral. He's fed me a lot of jobs, and I'm very grateful and appreciative for that. So those are just some samples of the way I post everything. And then I have the occasional where I just say, hey, I'm a local guy. For anybody that looks at small businesses, I do drain cleaning. I post a picture of my business card. And I just say, feel free to, reach out if you ever have any of these kind of problems. It's just stuff like that. You just try to be a good neighborhood person and look out for everybody, and it'll go a long way. So that covers that one comment. And another thing I also included at the end of my video from the update, I did get new business shirts made. So I always had, my basic, Fiorenzo Brothers, name logo. And I used to have, like, a big, like, kind of pipework looking fitting where it had, like, a jetter hose on the inside. I wasn't the biggest fan, just because it was very large. I was trying to develop a logo that could be small for, like, contained spots if I ever put, like, a magnet or a sticker on, like, a stack line or a sewer clean out. So I worked up a nice little logo that I was a fan of. So basically, I use flex shaft technology for most of my drain cleaning. I have my cable machines, but they take up a lot of space. Those flex shafts are more compact. So I'm a big user of that tool. So that and having my jetter now and, my sewer camera, those are the biggest things that I use in my business. Because I offer excavation services, but it's not my first resort to recommending to a customer. Depending on the issue, you don't always have to make somebody feel like they have to dig up the yard. There's ways to maintain the sewer and clean out roots and other issues without having to dig. So I want my logo to kind of represent how I can avoid that for people. So this little logo, I was able to configure all three of those. I didn't actually find pictures of all of the items, but I was able to search it on different Photoshop searches. And I actually but I actually created one that I'm very happy with. So this is a look at my new company shirt. So what I did is I was able to incorporate the flex shaft with the chains the camera, and a jetter head all together, and it kind of wraps around, almost has that figure eight look. It's I was so happy when I was able to come up with that. But that's about all I have for today. I figured I'd come up with some small stuff to talk about each time. And the fact that some people actually like listening to what I have to say, it means a lot. But that was really the only things that I kind of wanted to go over today. Feel free, leave a comment or something if there's any topics you want to discuss. I got another flex shaft on order from plumbertools.com. So I'm going to try to make a little tutorial video on how to set up that entire system and get things moving. So stay tuned for that. And that's it. Everybody take care.